GM burnout is something that has destroyed many a campaign. I've experienced it. I know friends who have had campaigns fizzle out due to burnout, and maybe you've experienced it. Or in watching this video, maybe you realize, oh no, it's me. How do you stop burnout from wrecking your game? That's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to go over what burnout is, some causes of it at the table, and ways to cope with burnout. And make sure that you stick around to the end for an announcement. But before we dive in, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos all about tabletop role-playing games and our other geeky interests. To start off, what is burnout? Burnout is a state of emotional, mental, and often physical exhaustion brought on by prolonged or repeated stress. It's not fun. Usually the stress is due to a job or work environment, but you can experience burnout in your personal life and at the table. When I've experienced burnout, it usually feels like a creeping sense of dread surrounding game. I find it hard to focus on prep. I'll find any excuse to put it off, which leads to more stress and more putting it off. And when we sit down at the table to play, I don't find myself enjoying sessions like I usually do, and often leave feeling drained, exhausted, and just generally not good. So if you're feeling this way, you may also be experiencing some burnout. So what are some of the things that can contribute to burnout at the table? Now, every table is going to have a bad session every now and then. It's just going to happen. It might be the dice are against you that day, poor choices are made, or just everyone's having an off day. But repeated bad sessions, or at least feeling like your players aren't enjoying the game, can contribute to feeling burnt out. You might feel like all of the work that you're putting into prep and run the game isn't being valued or having the impact you want. That can certainly make you question yourself and the purpose of running the game, if not to have fun. Whether it is the scale of the campaign, the tone, or the subject matter, if you started out wanting to run a lighthearted dungeon crawl and over the course of the campaign it's morphed into a serious, dark, save the world story, that can be stressful. Or even if it's vice versa, you start out with the save the world and suddenly it becomes this goofy, silly slapstick. This is one thing I think that's harder to identify as it often happens gradually. But the reason I bring it up and think it can contribute to burnout is that you might be feeling like you're lacking control in your role as the GM. What you're running each week could be conflicting with the idea of what you want to be playing, or worse, conflicting with your values or how you see yourself. Being a GM is a lot of work. It can be very fun and rewarding work, but it's a lot. I don't think anybody would really argue on that. Unlike a player that can just show up each week with their character sheet and needs to, make sure they're leveling correctly and keeping track of their own notes and inventory, the GM has to prep the session, create NPCs, encounters, and then run the game. Add on top of that hosting and table management duties that often fall on the GM's shoulders, and it can add up really quick. And it's stress. Most of the time, I think us GMs would call it the good kind of stress, but if you aren't feeling like your players are pulling their weight, or you're not getting the positive feedback or appreciation, especially if you've got a lot going on in your personal life, that stress can quickly morph from the good kind to the bad kind. Before I get to how to cope with burnout, I want to thank all of our patrons, especially Black Dragon Gaming. If you want to support our channel, you can head on over to patreon.com/rollforinitiative and check out the perks of becoming a patron. Okay, so we know what burnout is. We know some of the causes at the table. Now, how do you prevent or cope with burnout? If you're feeling uninspired to come up with the next storyline, encounter, NPC, you don't have to do it. This is where supplements and modules can be so very helpful. There are so many resources for just about anything in game. Sure, there's still going to be some prep, but it's taking a load off of your shoulders. Figure out what part of prep is stressing you the most or that you enjoy the least, and then search for that. Voila! Now you can focus on the parts of prep that you are enjoying. And there's nothing wrong with running a fully pre-made module. Let your players know how you're feeling. Many times they might already be suspecting that something's off, and then ask them for help. That might be that one of the players takes over hosting or scheduling duties. Maybe someone else GMs for a few sessions, or you might just get the encouragement and positive feedback from the players you've been missing that then will reinvigorate the game. Getting help can alleviate the stress of GMing, and hearing that your players do value the work you put in can reinforce that your effort has a purpose. There's a saying that says you can't draw water from an empty well. It's really hard to be creative when you're just creating and not taking the time to also take things in. So make sure you're giving yourself time to read, watch movies, go for walks, chat with other GMs, whatever it is that you find refills your well. For me, when I'm feeling really burnt out and struggling to write or create, that's often a sign that I need to slow down and take some time to observe, listen, and absorb. I need to take a moment and become a sponge. If you are really burnt out, really the only way to recover is rest. It might be that someone else is the GM for a few weeks or months, whether that's in the same game or playing something entirely different. You may need to have some time that you're not playing a tabletop role-playing game, and instead maybe your group gets together for a board game night. Or maybe you take a break entirely. If possible, try to find a natural place to pause the story so you aren't leaving everything on like a giant cliffhanger, and when you do return, everyone's trying to remember, wait, what was going on? Where were we? What was I doing? And once you've had a break and recovered, you can resume, whether it's resuming that campaign or just getting back to gaming. So this video topic is one I've wanted to revisit for over a year, and while sitting down to write up the script for this video, I had a bit of an epiphany. I'm feeling burnt out. To be honest, lately I've been experiencing a creeping dread about video making. When I've been sitting down to script or get ready to film, I've been distracted or just feeling unmotivated. Right now, we're producing a video a week. Both of us are working full-time, and we're raising a very active kid. It's a lot, and I need to make more room on my plate to refill my well. I still love making videos and interacting with this community, but we're going to pull back a little. So moving forward, we're going to take the first week of the month off. There will still be 3 videos a month, at least, and we'll still be posting to our socials and Patreon. But that gives us a regular break to recharge. And hey, if you are looking to help, honestly, comments and shares is the easiest and one of the most impactful ways to help. It shows that the work we're putting into creating these videos is appreciated and valued. And if you can, check out our Patreon and consider supporting us there. So what about you? Have you experienced burnout? How did you cope with it? Let's chat more in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time on Roll for Initiative. Bye! GM burnout is something that has... What am I doing with my hands?